What is up, everybody? Sam Dog, the infamous 253, coming at you guys with Brendon Nelson for our preview for the Seahawks versus Carolina Panthers game this Sunday in Carolina for hopefully what should be a Seahawks bounce back week, which we're hoping. Brendon, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, Sam. Good to be back on the show yet again.
Yeah, well, time for a bounce back week this week. First key, obviously, for when we play in this game is going to have to be shutting down Christian McCaffrey, who we all know is one of the best running backs in the league right now, too. One of the best, if not, you know what I'm saying, right? Christian McCaffrey, he coming out of Stanford, he's had some pretty good years with Carolina. He's still been on a tear. Can't let him get off early. And obviously this is the first time that we're not going to be taking on Cam Newton, obviously, because of Cam Newton's injury this year. So completely different quarterback battle this time.
Yeah, so the good news is Christian McCaffrey is kind of all they have right now. And you see in every game they play, even when they fall behind early, he's still a big part of their game plan because they integrate him into their passing game so much. He has these games where he has like 9 catches or 10 catches, sometimes 11 catches. However the game flow may go, Christian McCaffrey just kind of has to be a huge part of what they do. And I feel pretty good about that. We've been pretty good at stopping the run this year. Like I've said this before, I'll say it again. The only team that really ran all over us was the Baltimore Ravens. And the Panthers can't really emulate that style of rushing attack at all. So my sense is that we should be able to at least handle him on the ground, make sure he doesn't take over the game. I'm sure he's going to get his yards because he's Christian McCaffrey and he kind of always does. But Kyle Allen he started the season pretty good. He won a few games. He was playing good. But it's completely fallen off now. He's turning the ball over way too much. He doesn't really have a lot to work with. Their best receiver in Carolina is DJ Moore.
Yep.
And after that, it gets pretty thin. They got Greg Olsen, who's old and gets injured all the time.
They still have a good tight end.
Yeah, their offensive line is pretty bad. So I just don't really see much of anything with that Carolina offense that we can't handle. They're weak at receiver. They're weak at quarterback. They're weak on the offensive line. There's a reason why Christian McCaffrey was for a huge portion of this season on pace to break the record for most offensive touches in one season. I don't think that's going to happen now, but I feel good about this one, you know?
Yeah, another thing is we got to get back to sacking the quarterback. We've gone a couple weeks now without a quarterback sack or a hit, so we got to get back to, sacking the quarterback. I think we'll have Ziggy Ansah back. Hopefully we'll have Michael Kendricks back. And then also we got to look out for Carolina's pass rush. A lot's different now because, Thomas Davis isn't with Carolina anymore, so now it's just Luke Kuechly, Gerald Everett, and is it Kawan Short? Is Kawan Short still with the Panthers?
Yeah, I think so. I think Starlo Tulele is as well. But really, that Carolina pass rush has padded their stats against some really bad offensive lines so far this season. So to me, I'm looking at that Carolina defense. I don't see much either. They have the worst run defense in football. Every team they play just runs the ball all over them like it's nothing.
Freeman did it last week with Atlanta.
Yeah, the 49ers ran the ball all over them. The Falcons have done it. The Saints have done it. They have switched from a 4-3 defense to a 3-4 defense this year, and they did not have the right personnel to do it, and their players have not done a good job integrating into that style of defense at all. Like, even guys like Luke Kuechly, who we know are good, they're not having very good seasons, and I think it's because of that switch to the 3-4. So to me, this is the kind of game where we're just going to get out there, we're going to run the ball early, we're going to run the ball often, and I've heard that Tyler Lockett is back to 100% this week, and if that's the case, we do need to test him out at some point before the playoffs start.
Gotta get his mojo back.
Yeah, but I kind of see this as the kind of game where we're just going to run the ball a lot. We might get to see some Travis Homer and CJ Prosise, and I think that's going to win the day. I think that should be enough to get us this win with or without the passing game.
Another thing about this is, we need a confidence booster going into the next two, and I'm saying this again. We have to try to get a blowout. We haven't blown out anyone. We haven't blown out any team. Our only convincing win was that game against Arizona earlier in the desert. This needs to be the week where we have to have a blowout. This week and maybe next week, but this has to be the week where we have to do it. I want to see a good offensive performance where we just run the score up and potentially rest Russell for the rest of the game and put Geno Smith in, so that way Geno can get some snaps in there too. Just saying, obviously where, we have run the score up. Like the Ravens have done a lot with their opponents this year where, Lamar Jackson and their offense just runs up the score and then they rest Lamar for the rest of the day and put RG3 out there for snaps and that too.
Yeah, this is definitely an opportunity to blow a team out because, especially lately, Kyle Allen has been turning the ball over a lot. So if you get ahead, he's going to be forced to throw a lot to his receivers who are not very good. And then you can maybe get some turnovers because he also fumbles the ball a lot.
Yeah.
That was a problem. Even when the Panthers were winning games, he was having a lot of fumbles. And really, I do think that this is a great opportunity to get a blowout, and I can absolutely see it happening because the Panthers, they have a head coach right now who is not going to be their head coach next year, and everybody on that team knows it. So they don't have to worry about playing for that head coach. We've seen them get blown out by some pretty bad teams over the past several weeks. They got blown out by Atlanta. They're just not only are they not a very good team, they've really just kind of stopped playing as hard as you need to play to win in the NFL. So I don't see anything other than good things happening this Sunday. I'm almost too confident about this game in a way, but I feel good about it.
Another defensive player we still also got to look out for is former Washington Husky Shaq Thompson, too. Can't forget about Shaq Thompson, too.
Yeah. He's certainly a good player. They just gave him a big contract extension. But, once again, it seems like these players who have been good in the past are not playing well this year. And I think it's just because of that scheme change. Like, you would not think that a team that has Luke Kuechly at linebacker would be the worst run defense in football, but they are, and I don't even think it's very close.
No.
Every team they play just runs the ball up and down the field. And, now we're seeing teams pass all over them. Atlanta made several big plays against their secondary last week, and Dante Jackson kind of said some things that implied, the coaching staff was to blame, which kind of makes sense because they just switched head coaches last week. So, yeah, there's just not a lot going on in Carolina right now that's positive. I think they're eliminated from the playoffs completely. So
I think they are, too.
I don't see them. Yeah. So I don't see them giving a big effort to try to win this game, and I don't see them. And I just don't see much with those guys. But if we have trouble in this game, or we were to lose, then it's really time to completely reconfigure everything because with the way the Panthers are playing right now, you can honestly say they might be one of the worst teams in football. They have those wins from early in the season, but they are playing in general right now like they are one of the worst teams in football.
I agree. But also, who do you think could be their next head coach? A rumor is I heard some people from Carolina want San Francisco's defensive coordinator, Saleh.
Well, yeah, Saleh is going to be a big name this offseason. There's no way around it. The Cowboys are probably going to go after him. Teams like, well, maybe not Denver, maybe
the Redskins.
Their head coach has saved his job. But yeah, Saleh is going to be a big name this offseason for sure. And I don't know who the next guy could be. Sometimes it's really hard to know. Like Clemson has an offensive coordinator who I think is going to be a hot name this offseason. But it is tough to know. I would think they would get an offensive guy because they just had a defensive guy in Ron Rivera all these years. I like the idea of switching it up and getting an offensive coach, but I don't know who that could be. And very good chance that whoever comes in is going to be inheriting a brand new quarterback because they might be moving on from both Cam Newton and Kyle Allen this offseason.
What about Mike McCarthy? Could that be a name we could be seen thrown out there?
I could kind of see that. I really want Mike McCarthy to end up in Cleveland. I think that's the thing that makes the most sense. But if he doesn't, then yeah, I can totally see that. I can totally see Mike McCarthy going to Carolina, getting a chance to nurture a new quarterback because I assume they'll be getting one.
Yeah.
And yeah, that makes some sense to me.
And speaking of which, to end it up with, since we basically put out our keys, the rumor was that I was telling you earlier before we started this video was, I saw a rumor, I was at the Roadhouse, trade rumor, potential trade partner with the Carolina Panthers on this one, that they could be looking with the Los Angeles Chargers to make a trade for Cam Newton. So a possible rumor of maybe Cam Newton going out to Los Angeles, but playing for the other team, the Chargers, possibly next year. Possibly if Phillip Rivers, which I think Phillip Rivers probably likely might retire after this year, and I think I could see that as a possibility that the Chargers could eye Cam Newton if they don't want to, make Tyrod their starter for at least this next year, or at least try to get Easton Stick nurtured into their system too. I mean, but other than that, we got our game coming up, and we just got to do what we got to do this Sunday and bounce back, bounce back after a tough loss in Seahawks fashion,
I'll go ahead and put it on record that I will be shocked if we lose or even if we win a close game. I will be shocked if this isn't a pretty routine victory, honestly.
But yeah, what are your thoughts though about that about that rumor of the LA Chargers, a potential suitor for Cam Newton?
It makes sense because I think that the Bears and the Broncos, those are the two teams I thought were going to get him. Now suddenly they're looking like they might not need him because it looks like the Bears might give Mitch Trubisky his fifth-year option, and now the Broncos are sitting on Drew Lock, who's been playing so well. So yeah, I do kind of buy into that because somebody's got to get him, and right now I don't know who it's going to be. I don't think they would trade him inside the division to a team like Tampa Bay. I don't think they would. Yeah, the Chargers actually makes a lot of sense to me. I kind of like that.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, that's pretty much it for what we want to talk about. Brendon, thank you once again for coming on. Make sure you guys subscribe to Brendon Nelson too, and also sub me up if you're new and hit that like button. Give me and Brendon your thoughts on what we need how we're going to attack this next week and how we can bounce back and bring on the Panthers this Sunday and time for the Seahawks to bounce back.
Yeah, that's really all there is to it.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. And if you ain't with it, you ain't infamous. As always, go Seahawks.